Catwalk. Thank you very much for catching us on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so that you will not miss a single episode. Well, thank you very much. We have a really special guest with us today, Judith George. Thank you very much, Judith, for being here. Thank you for your patience. Be sure to check out, and we'll be sure to run your website at the bottom. It's To Be Real.
Right.
And real is R-E-E-L. And in this day and age, as we all know, in the world of selfies, in the world of videos, but I guess let's start at the beginning. Judith, please tell us, because you have quite a pedigree, how you transitioned and what you transitioned from making videos for the biggies to really helping individuals make their own videos.
Yeah, well, actually, I've had many lives in New York. I was a dancer and a choreographer first. That's how I ended up in New York. Yeah, and so then.
Where did you come from?
I came from Canada. And then I went to North Carolina School of the Arts, and then I came to New York. So, yeah, I've had a lot of different lives. And then at one point I was like, oh my God, I need to find a real job, because it's like, how long can you dance? I mean, people can, but so then I found my way into production company, and that's where I learned a lot of my skills. And then I found myself at Martha Stewart for 8 years, which I think is bravo.
That is very good. And what were you doing at Martha Stewart?
I was the online video producer. So I would take the daily show and then edit it into sections so that so it was like internet friendly, right? So that's what I did. Right. And then after her show ended, that job ended. So then I was like, go out on my own, because I had had enough of that probably lifestyle.
Yes. Was it super time sensitive to get those daily shows? How was that process in terms of getting that show online? Yeah,
it had to be up at the end of the day. And then they also had Mad Hungry and another Everyday Food. So there was one point there was 3 shows on the air. So I spent a lot of hours, late hours, just trying to, because I was the only one at the time, because we were a little bit, not to say behind in the video world, but they hadn't started really knowing what has to go up and how to make it web friendly so people don't have to watch a whole show. Yes. So it was very time consuming, but I love editing, so that was the fun part.
Oh,
yeah.
Love editing. Yeah. That's an anomaly. I like to hear that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, a lot of people, I like to shoot, but editing's I'll say my sweet spot.
Really?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. What is the program that do you have a favorite that you said?
I use Adobe, even though I'm a Mac person.
Okay.
But Final Cut, I left it because I wasn't happy with it. And then so I went to Adobe, and I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you really must have been quite a grind, having to get 3 shows up. I'm having a hard time processing that myself as you're telling me that.
Yeah. Well, it was, well, you'd come in and that kind of was your day. It was just cutting up the shows and then having them ready for online. And then, the editors would, the copywriters would have to do the text for it. But I would always get that ahead of time. So I would find myself kind of there late at night uploading videos. But
wow. Wow. Yes, I think we take it for granted when we go to a show's website, and we get those little sizzle reels, if you will, and we don't realize that it's taken some editing and some time to get those up.
Yeah.
And so you had to do that on a daily basis.
Yeah, it was on a daily basis. So.
Okay. So from that, please continue.
Yeah, so for a while I was like, well, I'll just freelance, because I actually, side note, I started to do stand-up comedy. Okay, so I'm
you have
I'm crazy.
You kept a lot of plates
I know,
spinning.
Many lives, I like to say.
Lives. So wait a minute, let's take a quick detour if we can, please. We gotta, because you can't just drop stand-up comedy and leave and walk away from that.
Yeah.
So you gotta. So please tell us a little bit more about why stand-up comedy and how stand-up comedy and when and where.
And people don't think, because I'm pretty mild-mannered, right?
Yes.
You wouldn't think that I would want to go that. But I had tried it, let's say, it's like I've been in New York so long that I feel like I'm a New Yorker because I've been in here over 25 years. That's pretty good. And so I tried it once a long time ago because I was taking an acting class, and I started to write my own monologues. And they tended just to be funny.
Okay.
So then someone's like, oh, you need to take stand-up. So I did it, but I was too sensitive at the time. So if a joke didn't land, it was really hard. So now I'm much more mature. So
do you think you'll go back to?
I started doing it after I left Martha Stewart, actually. So that's about 5 years ago. Okay. So I just started to do it again, and then I got so heavy into stand-up, and then I would freelance, and then I'd be into stand-up. And then I did stop while I was really building up my business, and now I'm getting back into it again. I can't, it's like the Al Pacino, whatever.
Every time you get out, they pull you back in. Yes, I can totally relate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, stand-up. So, are you writing a lot, and then do you have to write that material and then kind of work it out on stage?
Yeah, I do a lot of open mics because then you just, And the thing is now at this age, because I'm a lot older, I don't really care what people think, right?
That's
so there's more freedom.
That's a good place to be.
And so I was like, and I'm around so many young people. I could be their mother, which is fine. I don't have kids, so. But yeah, so I work out material. Actually, when I was out there, I was trying to figure out some jokes for this Sunday because I'm going to work them out. So it's like I have a double personality, maybe.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you miss dancing at all? I
do sometimes, yeah. I miss choreographing because that was because it's like related to what I do now. It's storytelling, right? And so I feel like that was the thing I always wanted to do was storytell.
Yes.
From that point, and that's what I'm doing now is storytelling.
Okay, so let's talk about. Yeah. We may. I don't know if we're completely done.
Yeah.
No, this is fantastic. You've got a lot of material. Yeah. So To Be Real, REEL.com is a website where I can go if I am a business person or an entrepreneur,
right.
and I can connect with you, and you will help me create a video selfie, for lack of a better word. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. It could be, someone calls it a video business card because you can sit down and you tell your story, who you are, or just like really short bits, like because we know online, I mean, it's getting longer of how long people will watch, but for like bits online, they want them fast. So I do that. I also do like speaker reels and like promo reels from already, recorded content.
Yes.
But yeah, I get a lot of small business and entrepreneurs that come to me for that work.
And why do you think it's important to have a business reel, if you will, or I like what you said, a video business card.
Yeah, that's a friend gave me that
one.
That's
excellent.
Well, I think that everything is online, right? There's so much online, and people are consuming online all the time, and we hear that all the time. And then there's social media, and everyone is just on a lot now is on their phone. But if you want to know how somebody is or what they're like, I think video really, like, they'll go, oh, I like that person's voice. You know how when you choose someone you're going to work with, or like a business you're going to go to, you're like, oh, they sound like they would get me. And so it's part of that relating to, like they can relate to the person they want to work with.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Why do you think so many people have so many issues in being in front of the camera?
I know that.
I'm sure that's maybe your number one challenge. Or
yeah, and I actually started to do a class, like a two-hour tutorial with people. I'll come to their place, and we're going to basically work out on camera. So that, because, it's hard, right? Because I got over it because I would see myself on stand-up, right? And I was like, all right, that's what I look like, so get over it. Like, or that's what I sound like. It's, I can't do anything about it. Not that I'm being mean to myself,
right.
You know what I mean?
I know. Listening, I find it myself. Listening to yourself, watching yourself, I think for anybody, I notice that they're actors. You talk to Brad Pitt and you talk to different actors who say, I don't watch my movies. Yeah. I don't watch what I've done. So I think it's pervasive. Yeah. I don't think so. I get it.
You see, because, we're always so critical of ourselves. So you look and you're like, oh, I see I did that. All your flaws. Because normally we just live out there. And then all of a sudden when you watch yourself, it can be really hard.
Yes.
To do that. And I understand that people feel that way. And so that's why I'm kind of working with them to just say, just sit. It's almost like just sit down and look at it and then you'll absorb it, and like you come back to it and look at it again, and then you'll be, oh, okay. Like, I think it's like a step-by-step process to get more comfortable in front of the camera.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So would you say that when you're coaching people, is it just practice? Do you believe in what people sometimes say about stand in front of the mirror, or do it in front of your mother or your dog or your cat, or just an audience to kind of get used to? Are there some tips that you can share to kind of make yourself less stage fright, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, I think one really good thing, and it's like if I'm doing my stand-up, sometimes I'll run it at home so I can hear it out loud. So I'm like used to the rhythm of it. But if you're just going to talk to someone, or if you're going to tape yourself, right? I always think like get something that you're really passionate about and start talking about it, because that'll bring the energy up in your body. It's like, I love chocolate so much, and then when you start talking about what you want to talk about, you'll have part of that connection to your emotions and to
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one that I think is really helpful.
That's very helpful.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. So I create this, so with your help, I create this video. About how long would you say the video, do they just vary completely in length?
Yeah, they vary. Sometimes it's about 2.5 minutes or less. That's really, because once it gets into 3 minutes,
You've lost.
you know, you lose them. And they're going to look at it for maybe a minute just to go, oh, I get that person. I like their voice. I like how they look. They're
Right.
neurotic. No, whatever you want to see about them. But
Right.
yeah.
Right. And do you find that you have all walks of people who are making these videos with you? Is a certain type of person, or?
Yeah, I work with a lot of women. It just happens, I'm going to say women over 40, but I mean, I work with a lot of women. They just tend to come, but I go through a lot of referrals. So.
Yes.
And I have a lot of women friends, so that's a lot of referrals. And they're varied. Like, some are established speakers, some are just starting a business. You know, it does vary. And they're very different walks of life, like you said, and different skill sets that they do.
Interesting. So there isn't just one type,
No,
if you will.
no.
I could be any, this is applicable to any profession that I may have.
I was talking to, it's not to
Yes,
interrupt
not
you,
at
but
all.
I was talking to someone just today, and we're like, a construction company, they might want to like be able to show how the buildings change, and it's like something you wouldn't think about, right? But
Right.
in the day of social media, and also people seeing, oh, they were great workers, oh, you know, it could be that as well.
Do you think that social media, I often say that I feel that social media is a gift and a curse.
Yeah, definitely is that, definitely.
Do you find that to be the case? I'm sure we've seen now we're in a world where there's so many, I feel like there are just as many bad videos as good videos
Yeah.
of people out there. Do you find yourself with people who are trying to do damage control on a bad video that they've done, or are they coming to you just with no skill set whatsoever in terms of speaking in front of a camera, and you really have to work with them? Have you had any cases of people that it just completely hasn't worked out at all?
No, I haven't had that, but I tend to have a lot of people that aren't used to doing video. And then sometimes if they've done a lot, then they're, not say they're demanding, but they have a different, thing that they need to
Right.
get done. But I work with a lot of people that are just not used to it. And I feel like that's part of the skill set I have, is like talking and pulling them out of themselves and relaxing them.
Yes.
And I work with a guy too, that I have a crew, we work, and they're all like mellow.
Nice.
So the person doesn't have to feel uptight.
Right.
And then that's part of it, because if you start talking, then they're like, oh, they'll relax, and then you get them to talk about what you want.
Right. So it might not be take one first word. You kind of, like you said before, I think you said it, you kind of have to warm up, if
Right.
you will.
Right.
So you take some time and you warm up to
Yeah.
it, and then
Yeah.
you start to
Yeah, and you
get,
tried to have it where they don't really realize that they're starting to answer the question. That's how, it could be like, oh, something about their day, and then all of a sudden it could be, oh, well, what did you do today? And, oh, I did this, and then you just go from there. I mean, you know, because you do it.
Right.
You do it all the
so
time.
So it gets to be organic after a while.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself working with a lot of comedians, or are you just going to get back into that?
I'm just going to get back into that.
Okay.
I don't want to say, but comics don't have a lot of money. No, that's the reality. No, but I do some reels, but normally for comics, they want, if you're going to send a video to a festival, they want to see the whole set. So I don't edit. So I'll tape shows for people and then cut up their set. But I don't work with a lot of comics. I'm just going to do it myself.
You're just going to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I cannot. I'm mad that I didn't know this before.
Oh,
I
that's
should have
okay.
asked, because maybe we were going to have you come back and maybe do some stand-up because that would be incredible. So you have, and you'd say, like, equal part performer. Do you get a lot of performers also?
I did at the beginning. I got a lot of actors that wanted actor reels. And then it slowly, as I started to do networking, I moved into different groups, and then I was connected to business owners, and that was where they would see that they wanted video. But I do get a lot of people still were like, why do I need video? And it's social media. You need video so someone knows who you are. And of course, I'm partial. You need video, but yeah.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I was actually at a trade show this week, and I was very disgruntled and disappointed when I was going to these different booths, and some of these multi-million-dollar companies were not even on Instagram.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
And I was like, how can you not even have an Instagram page? You're selling across the world, and you're not active on, or they haven't posted since, September 2019. I find that to be the case a lot, where people just they're not keeping up with it. They're not current.
Well, they don't. I had a conversation today actually with someone who's a social media person, and we have similar things where people go, why do I need it? It's not going to make me any money, right? But it really could, because people will get interested in your brand, but it takes work, and I think a lot of times they're like, well, I'm going to do this instead. Like, where do they put their money?
Right.
But I think this day and age, you have to be out there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, and back to the videos that you do, you said you also do videos for, is it speakers?
Yeah.
Are those a little bit longer? Is the process different? So walk us through that process.
So a lot of times there's speakers that have done a number of talks across the country or different ones. So I get their content. And from that, I will edit together a reel where it basically tells the story of what they teach. Like, there's one person, and she's a speech coach, and so she's able to show how she will take someone from learning to being able to talk at the end. And then I also clip it in with an interview style, so that I would do a video of them, and then they can explain really who they are, so that you can get an idea of what their philosophy is and how they got there. So, but they are longer. Now they're becoming like 4 minutes, which, I mean... Do
you think people are still watching that? Are they still...
I think probably not the whole. I think that, because they're going to give them to, like, event planners, right, when they want. So I think event planners, I don't know, I'm like, they want to make sure you can talk. They want to see how you look on stage, right? That you know how to communicate to the audience. And so they probably watch, like, you put the best part right up immediately. Like, you want to get them, like anything, like video. You want to get them right away.
Yes.
So a lot of times they'll start with a question, so that you're like, oh yeah, I've suffered from that, or oh, I want to learn that.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Do you have doctors or lawyers or people in those type of professions who would do you think?
I think they would. Actually, there's a lot of articles I read recently about how the health industry should be doing videos, because it's just, there's so much out there, and because it will shine a light on them, like who they are, what they're working on. And I did do one chiropractor, and that was interesting. I mean, it's so interesting because you find out why they got into it.
Right.
And then you hear stories of how they helped somebody and how they felt better. And it's like, this is a good story. Like, you do something good, because everybody does something. It contributes in some way, right? So it's nice to hear how it does for people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And So most of your clients, would you say, is it fair to say, I hate to say, are mostly women?
Well, I hate to say that too,
I
because
know,
I'll
I
take
feel
any man
terrible.
too.
Right.
Yeah,
Anyone could do this.
Yeah. It just tends to be, I don't know if it's because I'm a woman and so women can feel more comfortable. I don't know. I shouldn't even be, saying that I'm just that.
Right.
But a lot of them are, I work with a lot of speakers, and then a lot are, some are health coaches, a lot of coaches, because they need to get their message out. And it's just seeing how they work with people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so when they, have you seen a drastic change from some of these people who may have been a little bit tentative in front of the camera, and then you get this wonderful, polished, finished product, this video, and are you, once you're done with it, are they just taking that video and disseminating it and using it for their business? Do you ever, I guess, want to say, do you ever get to go back and see the ripples in the pond of the effects of what you've done and what you've birthed and helped create?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I get to see it on their site. I get to see it when they post it on Instagram or LinkedIn, and you can hear what people say. You know, and what's really nice is sometimes someone can be a little nervous, but then I get them talking, and then they say something, you're like, oh my God, that's such an awesome statement.
Right, that was gold, video gold.
Right, and you're just so excited for them, and then you're also, I mean, I coach throughout it. It's like, because they are doing well. Just to even do a video, if they're nervous, that's a good step. And then, you know, you have to find someone you're comfortable with working with, and then it all just, you know, it's like a dance. No, but it is, you know what I mean? It kind of all fits in together.
Yes. So for you personally, I find it interesting in what you said about dance. So your dance and the performance, it's all very symbiotic.
Yeah.
Was that intentional? Was that on purpose? Have you always been attracted to the, I want to say, the 360 degree? I feel like you are you've come 360 degrees with your performing in front of the camera, behind the camera, and then helping others. Was that intentional, by accident? I feel it's so interesting because you've literally come all the way around.
I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, what am I doing? How did I get here? You know, like we all do. And I think it just happened. I think it's more because, and not to be all like heavy into anything, but I think that what I always wanted to do was like to get people to feel something. So by dance and like choreography, it's like you want them to feel something. And then it just went in where I want to help somebody, you know, like their audience feel something by the story that I tell. And I do think it's about storytelling, so it was just another medium to do storytelling in. And it just, I just wanted to keep doing stuff that's in the arts. I guess that's not, that was, I don't know if say that was intentional, but that's just where my love is.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. No, I find it so interesting. And the comedy just is an incredible layer.
Like,
you really
I know, sorry.
No, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It definitely adds an incredible another layer to this. So really, the videos are just a natural progression of you telling stories, because as you said, the dance is a story. You could even kind of say the comedy is, or your style of comedy is storytelling. We know there are different kinds of comedy, but your brand of comedy is storytelling. So this is really another evolution, if you will.
Yeah, and it went from kind of being like dance. I don't know what to how. But dance is different. It's like a little more like enclosed, and then comedy gets a little, and then video is you have to be out there. Like it's going to go further than dance. Like people relate to video more than people relate to dance. Right. Yeah.
And where are we shooting these videos? Where do you go? Do you shoot them wherever the subject wants to shoot them, or do you recommend places, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sometimes I'll rent, like, because I did a group of, I called them mini shoots, where I did like an hour and I had a number of people come in, and then they could get a really good price on getting a video. And so I rented a hotel space, and it had another room, so we had makeup and they could rest, green room, so I just would shoot like 5 or 6 within a day, and I was able to offer a good price because people know video can be expensive.
Yes.
So this was a way for me to let people see what I do, but also know that they're going to get a video that they can use, and I can give them a price because it feels, because I know price always comes into the thing.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But
Excellent.
to answer your question,
yes.
hotel, like I've used a hotel. The other day I had a really good friend of mine who let me use her space. It was like a big, beautiful loft space, so I did that. Yeah. And sometimes it's at their location if they want to, see them in action.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I just say that because sometimes I watch a lot of YouTube videos, I watch a lot of vloggers on YouTube, and sometimes they're shooting in locations that the dirty dishes are in the sink behind them. Yeah. There's something going on. Yeah. Maybe something's falling over, or the bookshelf is very cluttered behind them.
Yeah.
And it's
and the thing about that is so distracting, right? Because you're kind of looking like, what books are they reading? And then it takes your attention off of them. So I'm really careful about where I shoot. I mean, obviously, and sometimes it's, you just want it to look I always want it to look as clean as possible. So it's really like you do have to scan and make sure you're not seeing something that you may not have noticed because you're not conscious. Like I actually am working with a lawyer, but she's shooting her own videos, but I'm going to edit for her. But I went down and we looked at her space, and I was like, here's a good spot for you to do it. And then I can edit them easy. I know where, and put in text and stuff like that.
Right.
But we made sure it was a clean area, like with nothing on it.
Yes, yes. What you said is so true, because I even watch some vloggers do live videos, and you can even see by the people's comments that they're saying, oh, what's that over there? What's that on that back shelf? What's happening behind you? So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't think that people are conscious of what's going on in the background, as we all know.
Yeah.
That's funny. So To Be Real is on Instagram?
Yeah,
Facebook?
it's actually under
Tell us.
Ms. Judith George, MS Judith George. But it will say To Be Real, but it is. I have it as a business account.
Okay.
But I also post some personal things because that's me. That's,
But I think that it goes back to what you said earlier about people getting to know you and feeling more familiar with you.
Right.
And I mean, I hate to quote Kim Kardashian, but what have we come to? But I noticed, I remember her saying that she's very conscious, like you said, about what she balances business with pictures of the kids, with pictures of her beauty line, with pictures of whatever the latest thing that she's hawking. So you kind of have to walk a tight rope in terms of sharing a little bit of everything. So I think that that's totally, it helps us know more about you. And you're spinning so many plates. And I didn't even ask about the dance. What kind of dance did you originally do?
I was a modern dancer. And I actually had a dance company with my sister. She was a dancer. It was a very small company, but it was called the George Girls, because that was our, it is still my last name.
Right.
But anyway, so it was modern, and that was a good time too, but I was young. Yeah.
How long would you say is the life of a dancer? Because as you said, it wasn't something that you knew. I guess you knew that you were going to have to evolve into something else.
Well, the thing is, I know a lot of people that actually are still dancing. Well, not a lot, like a few that they kept pushing through it. So there is, well, you know how everything is changing, where the new 50 is 30, right? Whatever. So there are some groups that are in their, I know a couple of them are in their 50s, but they're still, I don't know how big they're dancing, right?
Wow.
But it could be a short life. I mean, 30s. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't even say, because I don't really know. I just knew I needed a skill other than dance, because that wasn't going to get me. Like, after a while, I needed a skill. So that was the main point.
And that's an important nugget to take away, is that everyone, I don't think anyone would argue that the performing arts are great and it's absolutely wonderful, but your shelf life can be kind of short. And so it's important to have a plan B. And it's just so interesting that your plan B, C, and D are all very intertwined and very, very much woven in the performing space.
Yeah, that was by chance. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I should have been a lawyer when I watch all my law shows. No.
Yes.
But
absolutely. But you just took it from behind the camera, right, performing on one side to kind of pulling it out of other people to perform on the other side. That's incredible. And any chance of any choreography coming back into the, because you get back to comedy, so I don't feel like it's such an outlandish question.
Well, you know my niece, because my sister's daughters are all dancers, okay? So it's like and one of them had a dance company. I don't know if it's still going, but I said, oh, can I I wanted to choreograph a piece on her company. I don't know if it's going. It was more like, this will make me feel good for the new year, like do something creative out of my comfort zone now, because that would be a big deal. But occasionally I think about it, but the truth is I'd get in there. If I was trying to do a movement, I would be like, that hurts, Right. So it'd have to be very different.
Wow. But obviously the life of a choreographer is a lot longer than
that.
They
can do it. I mean, Twyla Tharp is 80-something. Like,
is she still, totally off topic, but she's still...
I think she still is. I know she wrote a book recently, but I'm pretty sure she still is. But don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Since this is on tape. Anything on tape, don't quote me. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But we can at least safely say that she was doing it 10 years ago.
Yes.
So into her 70s still is nothing.
Merce Cunningham, when he was alive, he did it for so long. So yeah, you can, as long as you can tell people what to do. And then if you're dancers, they're used to your movement style, so then it's easier to get them to understand what you want to do. I mean, what you want them to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do we want to tell people where they can catch you performing from the comedy space? I feel like we there's a whole nother layer that.
Well, I could do a plug for a show in April.
Please do.
I think it's it's a Saturday night. It's the first Saturday night in April. I think it's the 4th or the 5th, but it's at the Triad on 72nd Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you at the Triad? If we miss that one, are you? Anywhere?
I'm doing yeah, you might miss that one. I'm not sure what's coming up, actually.
Okay.
Because I wasn't going to get into it, and then all of a sudden it started to happen, and then all of a sudden a couple people were like, do my show, do my show. I mean, I was glad for that, because that's a big, it's an honor for someone to ask you to do their show.
Yes.
But it was kind of where, like I said, the Al Pacino scene, that always, I love Al Pacino.
Yes. No, what's funny is I use that quote a lot, and I think lots of people find themselves in that position. You think that you've got one foot out and they're pulling you back in.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So we'll just kind of try to keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep an eye. I'll put it on my Instagram.
You put on your Instagram when you're performing again? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, because we always scratch the surface of that. We didn't really fully get into that the way we need to, because that's just an incredible layer. What do you feel, before we get off the topic of comedy, I see that there's a lot of controversy, or it sometimes comes up, about comedians stealing other comedians' jokes and taking other people's material.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Do you find that to be the case? Do you have any thoughts?
Probably not so much I haven't noticed a lot. And what I do, and I have another friend, we'll go up to them and say, hey, so-and-so, that's very similar to someone's joke. Like, I had a joke, I was talking to someone last week, and I said, oh, this is a joke I'd want to work on. And they told me that someone else was doing something similar. So I'm like, okay, I'll step back, because I don't want to, you want to let them have their joke.
Well, that's very conscientious of you.
Yeah,
that's and very rare, as you know.
Yeah, but I just felt like she probably has, not that she has a better one, but it's like she's already worked on it. She's invested in it. Mine was like, it's kind of funny, let me make it funnier, but not that there's no new ideas, is what they say too, right? Nothing's
That's
new.
True.
But it's how, a lot of times it's like, but no one will tell it like you, the person, right? It's the personality that'll make it different too. So sometimes I hear that. But yeah, we always, I would say to somebody, you know, that's similar to that person, or that's like a famous person's joke. I've seen that happen like on a small stage, like, because I'm in the, you know, green area of comedy, right? So sometimes you'll see that.
Really?
But you know, I feel like it's important to say, you know, that's so-and-so's joke, or because it feels bad. Like once I did hear someone said, oh, this person did a joke similar to your, and then you kind of go like, because
right.
I don't know, you just
right.
you know.
Right. Wow. Yes, I hear that, and sometimes you hear famous comedians talking about other famous comedians taking their material, and so I always wonder from you're in that world what your thoughts are on that. That. Wow. But we'll definitely, I want to make sure we give everyone the information on tobereal, REEL.com.
Right.
And like we said before, it really doesn't matter what your business is. It can benefit you across the board.
Because everybody has a story, right? And that's the premise I go from, is everyone has a story, and it should be, not to say it should be shared, but people want to hear the story because there's a lot of people we can relate to and go, oh, I had that problem, or you know, it's empathy for somebody else too.
Right. Right. Do you find a lot of people you work with after they've done the video, they've noticed a difference in connecting with other people, or once they put it out there, their business, or just people really notice a difference?
Yeah, a couple times people have said they're getting response from it, but also I don't know how they feel after. I think even putting a video out there, people feel vulnerable. Right.
Yes.
So it's like, even if they have it, it's like, you know, because everyone's like, what is someone going to say? And you have to, that's another thing where I'm like, we're never going to be perfect, and not everyone's going to like what you do, but you're doing your work, so put it out there and get it done.
To that point, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that actually doing the video probably is like what you said, it's an incredible internal exercise as well, in terms of thickening your skin, honing your skills a little bit more, and like you said, making you a little more impervious to the slings and arrows that society tends to hurl at us on a daily basis. So it's probably something that if I taught I always have those moments of being a teacher, and feel like if I were a high school teacher, I would want you to come in and have every single student do a video, because it's almost, if you will, a rite of passage in terms of getting
gets them comfortable with themselves and be like, I'm worth it, or I don't mean to, it's a commercial, but I mean, you're like, you are important, people are important, and we all can learn something from each other. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Judith, thank you very much for your time today. You can find Judith George again. The website is tobereal.com, and it's to be real, and real is REEL.com.
Right.
You can find her on Instagram. You can definitely follow her on Instagram, so you can also find out where the comedy shows are at, because we've got to delve. We're going to unpack that more on another show.
I keep it secret. No, it's my secret life.
We've pulled out the secret life, and we're going to get more into that later. Thank you very much for catching us on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe so that you will not miss a single episode. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, thank you from all of us at Celebrity Catwalk.